So I decided to work with Villages of Santa Fe, which we will get to in a minute. This is going to be the structure of my presentation. We're going to talk about my guiding question first that got me to do this TAP community service. We're going to be talking about who I worked with, what they do, and why I worked with them, and why they do what they do. We're going to talk about what I did with them. Then we're going to talk about what I learned, what my takeaways were, and why this was a really important experience for me. We're then going to talk about how this connects to the portrait of a graduate. And finally, we're going to say and talk about what you guys can do in connection with what I did for my community service. So, my guiding question was, what can I do in my community to help senior citizens and younger kids? We're only going to be talking about the senior citizens part today. For the younger kids, I worked here at school and helped produce the middle school musical. It's free. Come see it tonight at 7 o'clock and tomorrow at 2 o'clock. It's going to be really fun. It's Mean Girls. But the more important focus for me was helping senior citizens. I have several senior citizens in my family. Most of my grandparents are still alive, and I like helping them. I also was a part of the organization that Prep used to have, Boomer Tech, which we will get to in a little bit, and that was sort of what sent me down this path of how can I assist senior citizens in my community. So, the WHO, Villages of Santa Fe, is the organization that I worked with. They also used to run Boomer Tech here at Prep, and they are a organization that basically helps bring senior citizens together that don't want to live in one of the homes like Montecito or Brookdale or Kingston. It's so that they can still have independence but still watch videos like for fitness. They can communicate with other members of the community and not feel very isolated, because the reason that Villages exists, what do you guys, show of hands, please somebody raise your hand and answer this question. What do you think the biggest problem facing senior citizens today is? Yeah?
Housing.
No. Yes.
Loneliness?
Huh?
Loneliness?
Exactly. Isolation and loneliness are the biggest problems for senior citizens today, because as you get older, people around you either move away or pass away, and many people in the senior citizen community have been left alone. Which means that they stop doing things. They stop having fun. They stop going out. And so Villages, their whole organization is all about making sure that people stay together, that they can make friends, that they can go out and work together. And I worked with them, as I said, because of Boomer Tech. And now, Boomer Tech was very important because it was a way for teens to work with senior citizens. It was a way to give senior citizens interaction with younger people and just give a little bit more life, and for them to learn new things, which was technology. And so what did I do? Well, for this TAP organization, I couldn't just go to people's houses and be like, oh, here's how you use your TV and stuff like that. So Villages basically hired me without paying me, because I needed hours for community service, to edit videos for their YouTube channel and their other paid subscription service that would bring the community together. I mostly worked on fitness videos, and so those videos were out there for the Villages community to watch so that they could stay fit and stay healthy. Because when you're alone and not doing anything, you start to get unhealthy and more susceptible to other illnesses. And so Villages does their best to combat this by giving senior citizens the opportunity to do stuff. I also spent a lot of this year relaunching Boomer Tech. So for those of you who don't know, Boomer Tech was shut down this year because we weren't getting that much interest. It used to be a huge organization before COVID, then COVID happened, and it just sort of dwindled out, and Ambrose decided to move on to one of the other organizations, and Boomer Tech sort of died with him leaving. And I didn't like that, because I loved working with senior citizens. I loved giving them the tools that they could use to use their phones, to learn how to use their computers properly, and so that their lives could be better. And this was my big overarching focus of the year, was to relaunch this. I got a lot of my hours editing videos, but this was, who can I work with at the school to bring this back? Who can I work with in the public space? We are now working with the public library so that next year, Boomer Tech can be back in full force with even more people. And so what did I learn, and what were my takeaways, and why was this important to me? I learned a lot about video editing doing this, because I spent hours upon hours upon hours using Premiere Pro to make the videos good and usable and also clear. I also made tech tip videos for the channel, which gave me a whole other side of how do you communicate your point in a simple way that everyone can understand, that everyone can use. And my takeaways are basically that, yeah, loneliness is a really big deal. it's really, really hard to see people that used to be super vital and vibrant kind of just become secluded. One of my grandparents is sort of going through that process right now, and recently I've been reaching out to him more, trying to give him a little more, like something else to pay attention to, because as time has gone on, he's become slower and less interested in going out, and that's what's happening to a lot of senior citizens. So how does this connect to Portrait of a Graduate? I chose both steward and effective communicator for my Portrait of a Graduate connections. Steward, because this has a lot to do with being involved in the community and being somewhat of a leader in the community. You can read it there, reflective awareness of themselves and their connections to the larger world. I knew that through doing this, I was having an influence on senior citizens and people in my community, and hoping that I had a positive influence. Effective communicator I put in because I had to, when relaunching Boomertech, reach out to so many different organizations. I was going to be working with villages, but I also had to communicate with the library. I communicated with another organization that does a similar thing to Boomertech, and reaching out to people from all sorts of different areas of the senior citizen cycle in Santa Fe, including Aegis, who is more of a, like, I don't remember exactly the words right now, but they're more for like preparing for death organization, but they have a lot of communication with Brookdale, Kingston, Montecito, and those organizations to get the word out there that Boomertech was going to be a thing. So what can you do? How can you have any influence in this space? Well, the simplest way is just reach out to the senior citizens in your life. Make them not feel lonely. Call your grandparents. Call your older friends. If your parents have senior citizen friends, reach out to them. Let them know that you're thinking about them. Make them not feel so alone. But the other thing that you can do is, I've done the final steps, and Boomertech is officially coming back next year as an organization. It's going to be led by Dr. Prochaska, and so if you are a rising sophomore or junior, that is going to be one of the organizations that you can sign up for. It's super fun. You get to teach senior citizens how to use technology. It's really satisfying afterwards. And then you can also give presentations on technology. If you're a rising senior, you might be able to talk to Dr. P to see if there's any way that you can help lead it, because he's going to want assistance since it's his first year leading it, and you could throw that in as a part of your tap of saying, I'm helping lead Boomertech. Just food for thought, but the main thing is communicate with people and make them not feel so alone. Thank you.
Okay, you guys, we have some time set aside for questions. Who has questions for like Max Dorwald?
Yeah.
So unusual of you to ask a question.
If we do Boomertech, is it like just like basic technology, or is it like?
It depends. Most of it is like cell phones and computers, varying in age. I helped one person last year buy a brand new phone, and then I've also had people come in with phones that are like 10 years old, and they're like, I don't understand why it isn't working nowadays. Or you have people come in that are like, I don't know how to open Google. Or you have people that are like, I don't know how to use my phone, I'm just having a problem with my contacts, and like, you have so many different issues in Boomertech. I would say that, yes, there's a lot of basic technology, but it can also be really satisfying still.
Oh.
Anyone else?
I'm kind of curious about like some of our earlier presentations. We had two different philosophies come up, right? So one person came in and said, I really wanted to invest time in a hobby that I cared about, and I wanted to use that as my civic experience. Somebody else came in and said, I wanted to use my civic experience, and these were two civs,
Yeah.
right? I wanted to use my civic experience to kind of learn what it looks like to work in an office setting, right? And so both of them took away different skills kind of related to, was this a hobby or was this a like looking forward to being in an office? I kind of want to know a little bit about how you approached the SIPTAP experience and what you prioritized. And then my second question is, what skills do you feel like were most valuable coming out of this?
I approached SIPTAP with my SIP being much more focused on the future and my job. I worked at a film and production organization called Stagecoach Santa Fe because I'm interested in going into the film industry and I wanted to know the business side of film. But for TAP, I loved doing Boomertech. I did it from 9th through 11th grade, and I saw the positive effects that it had. I saw the people that were helped by it. And like I said at the start, I have several senior citizens in my family or who I like just know, and seeing how isolated people can become, I saw how Boomer Tech was more than just, oh, we're teaching you how to use technology, and more about you are getting interaction with younger people. And that was really important. And so the skill takeaway that I got from this was communicating with organizations and compromising and figuring out how to like arrange meetings, because shockingly, trying to get people together doesn't get easier as they become adults. I thought it would, but it was still constant schedule management, as well as video editing and stuff, because that was how I got most of my hours. But it was really satisfying because I knew that the videos that I was putting out were going to have a positive impact and help people feel better about themselves.
This was something that like I feel like is a very Santa Fe issue, so I'm curious if you ran into this at all. When you like reached out to people, did they reply pretty quickly, or did you have to like constantly pester them? Because I know like no one replies to my emails.
It depended. There were some people that it would be like, I would get a response the same day, and then there would be people who 5 days would pass, and then I would send them another email, and then 3 days would pass, and I'd send them another email, and they'd be like, I'm sorry, I just got this email. It's like, yeah, you did. Right. Yeah.
Any other questions? Awesome, thank you, Luke.
Thank you.
I want to say, as we